What's up guys, Lewis here, and today I'm back with another video and I'm going to teach you the blueprint to be able to lose 60 pounds. Now don't worry if you're not here to lose 60 pounds, this is going to work for no matter how much body fat you want to lose, how much weight you want to lose. It's going to be everything that you need. But this is a specific story about how I helped one of my clients, Bev, lose 60 pounds on her journey. And yeah, we're going to run through everything that we did to help her do that, so you can apply it to yourself as well, so you can get these level of insane results. So if you're unsure about who I am the owner of the Lemon Frog Fitness Company, which is this gym that you see yourself in at the moment, or see myself in. And I've been in the industry for about 10, 12 years now. It's kind of skewed because it's been so long, I can't remember. But I've had this facility here for 8 years. And yeah, I've just been helping women all around the world build up their confidence in the gym, lose body fat, lose weight, and ultimately get stronger in the gym and feel great. So I want to help you do the same thing, and I'm going to do that with today's story and this blueprint on how you can lose the equivalent of how much you want to lose for 60 pounds, right? So a bit of background first on Bev. She and her husband owned a very, very successful and busy garage. In fact, this is how we met. I went in to get my car serviced and we got talking about her wanting to get into her journey, and it kind of started from there. But yeah, her and her husband, super, super busy, and it wasn't uncommon that they were up from the crack of dawn working 12-hour days. And I say they because her husband actually ended up coming to work with me as well, and we helped him lose 20 pounds of body fat. So as you can see, what we're going to run through in this video today can help anyone like smash their results and get the best results possible. But yeah, anyway, like I said, it wasn't uncommon that they were working their asses off all the time and super busy. So it wasn't like they had hours upon hours to be able to throw at this stuff. So what we did was we built a plan around them so they could fit fitness around their lifestyle rather than vice versa and trying to cram them into doing unsustainable stuff to be able to get results. So it's because of this that they were successful, right? Because I'm sure that you've tried so many times to like lose weight, get in shape, tone up, all that sort of stuff. And just ultimately it becomes too difficult. You can't sustain it. You have to give up basically because you feel like a failure because you can't do it. Whereas actually the plan that you would have followed failed you because it didn't fit your lifestyle. Does that make sense? So what we need to do is basically find things to fit around you. And like I said, that's exactly what we've done for Bev and Simon. But yeah, before starting with me, she was someone that struggled with binge eating, like emotional eating. This was a reoccurring thing for her, and she struggled to have that control around her food. But again, with everything that I'm going to teach you in this, we abolished that. Like we completely conquered it. No longer did she feel victim to food. No longer did she have to have like binge eating episodes or emotional eating or anything like that because of absolutely everything that, yeah, we're going to run through. So the main reason why I see most people fail at being able to lose such a substantial amount of weight is because they don't do things in phases. They just think about starting a diet, and in their head, they're on a diet for the rest of their life then, right? I'm sure you've done this many times. You just think about being on a diet and there's no end point. It's just when you get to wherever you want to be, which again, just feels a million miles away. Whereas I never do that with my clients. We never do things in one straight run because it's just mentally fatiguing. It's physically fatiguing as well, right? If you've been on a diet for a long time, it's draining. It's absolutely draining. So this is why I don't do this with clients. Like we do things completely differently. And that's why all my clients get such badass results because of this sort of stuff. So I want to be teaching you about this. So what we did with Bev first is we didn't jump straight into a diet. Now this is again where most people go wrong. They try and go straight into a diet, a fat loss phase, etc. But they just don't see results because they haven't even built up the habits or got themselves and their body ready to see really good results. So what we end up doing is the first phase is known as a priming phase. So what a priming phase basically is, let me write this up, is where I would get a client ready and primed for a fat loss phase. So what we do about this is we spend it depends on the person really, on like how long we spend in each phase and how their body responds to it. That's mainly what I'm looking for during these phases. But for phase one, like what it is, it's priming your body, your habits for a successful fat loss phase. So what we done in this phase with Bev is we actually analyzed her nutrition throughout this point. We looked into seeing how her body was responding, like how she was with the food that she was having, and where we can make certain changes. What we found with Bev, like most women, is that she was eating too many carbs, too many fats, and not enough protein. Now, calories are king at the end of the day. Like, they're the thing that dictate your results. However, if you've got a very low protein diet, this is where a lot of cravings come from, because protein is the most fulfilling nutrient that you can consume, right? So what I always find with my clients is when I put them on a higher protein diet, they really feel fuller than they've ever felt before. Often they'll say that they feel too full almost, because they just don't feel hungry at all, and they sometimes struggle to eat enough calories. And that is really the power of protein. So we focused on getting her protein right and making small changes to her diet. The other thing that we looked at during this time, is movement. Like, how much was she moving every single day? Because this is super important. I think I've spoke about it in another video before, actually. There was this study done where they took like a group of people, 177, 166 people, and put them into like a small room, not all at once, like separately. And they monitored how many calories they burned. Some people burn something like 100 calories, 200 calories in 24 hours, while other people burnt like 700, 800 calories. And the difference was the amount they moved. They're all in a small confined space, but that movement really plays a big result. So what we did was we assessed all this sort of stuff. We assessed her nutrition, we assessed her movements, so like her steps. And then we focused on building up the fundamental movements in her weight training program. So she was coming into the gym 3 times per week. So again, she wasn't training every single day, just 3 times per week of weight training. And what we did is we focused on nailing the technique and getting her confidence up in the gym so she could train harder and more confidently. And that's all we done for the priming phase. We weren't looking at losing loads of weight, losing loads of body fat. We did see some changes, of course, because of these changes that we made, but that wasn't our sole intention. Like I said, this was a priming phase. It was to prime her habits, her body, to see the best results possible. Now, after this phase is when we moved into the second phase. So phase 2. Now, phase 2 was all about the fat loss side of things. So this is where we went into our first fat loss phase to be able to get off as much body fat as we could. So once we assessed her body and her habits and collected loads of data from everything in the priming phase, I was able to create the best program for her. I was able to see what's going to be best for her nutrition, where her steps are going to be best, how to best program her training sessions based off the how well she done in the first priming phase. And then from here, the results just ran. Like they started flying. She was dropping weight faster than ever before. And bearing in mind, she was someone that before we started together, she believed that her body was destined to stay the same. She tried so many different things before, and because she went through the menopause, she thought that was it for her. But with one last shot at everything, if you will, and signing up with me, this is where we just went all in. And like I said, we just saw her body fat and her weight just drop during that first fat loss phase, I should say. And again, it's no mistake that she lost the amount of weight she did here. I can't remember the exact amount of weight that she lost during her first phase, but I want to say something that was like 15, 20 pounds. We lost it quickly. And again, that's because we'd done the priming phase first. We got her psychologically ready, physically ready, and then went into that fat loss phase, right? Now, here's the thing that people don't do. The next phase is where most people go wrong because they don't do this. To be fair, most people don't even do phase 1. They just go to phase 2. And again, that's why they see a problem. But another big issue is they don't do phase 3. Now, what phase 3 is a maintenance phase. I think I've spelt this wrong. Don't judge me. This is the problem with spell check these days on your iPhone, because you never actually have to work out how you spell anything, it does it itself. Anyway, maintenance phase. My writing is shit. It hasn't changed since primary school, but don't judge me. So yeah, we actually increased her calories at this point. We took her out of a diet. She wasn't at the point where she wanted to stop losing weight and losing body fat. which a lot of women that I work with really struggle with this phase psychologically because they want to keep losing weight. And I'm like, we're putting your calories up. But because they trust me, they listen to me and they start just putting up their calories. Now, the reason that this is important is because most women try and continuously lose fat until they get to the end result. However, when you're in a long fat loss phase and constantly trying to lose weight, your energy starts to drop, your cravings start to increase, and you have different like fluctuations, if you will, in your hormones. I don't mean necessarily like your hormones in terms of like your menstrual cycle and things like that. I just mean like your hunger hormones as well. When you've been dieting for a long time, right, your satiety hormone known as leptin, so the hormone that signals to your brain that you're full, you don't need more food, that starts to drop. While your hormone ghrelin, which is responsible for sending a signal to your brain that you're hungry and we need food, rises. So when you diet for extended periods of time, these hormones start working against you and your body's signaling that I need food, and this is where cravings start coming in, right? So this is why we need a maintenance phase. We need to increase your calories to get your energy levels and everything back to a normal place so you can see better results after that. Because something really important to know, is you may have heard of like the starvation response before, and now this has been taken completely out of like context, the starvation response. People will say like if you've been dieting on too low calories for too long, your body starts holding onto fat because it doesn't know where it gets its meal from. It's bullshit. Like that doesn't happen. But what does happen, right, is let's say these boxes here, right? This here is the amount of calories that you burn every single day. And this here is the amount of calories that you eat. Now, what happens is when you place yourself in a deficit and you eat less calories than you burn, over extended periods of time, one, you start losing weight. So when you lose weight and you weigh less, what ends up happening is because you weigh less, you burn less calories every day. That's just the natural order of things. And then after a while, if you've been dieting for a very long time, your body starts trying to slow you down to burn calories. Now, it doesn't happen through this magical metabolism thing or anything like that. But what happens, you don't damage your metabolism is what I'm going to say. But what does happen is your body will start slowing you down in terms of you might fidget less, right? So like I'm talking a lot with my hands during this video, I'm stood quite tall, I have good posture right now. After dieting for a long time, I'll be a little bit more like this. My voice will start to slow down a bit. I'll be less energized, right? I'll be less fidgety, I'd be moving less, I'd be training with less intensity. So what happens over extended periods of time of dieting is you will burn less calories subconsciously. Like you won't know about it. It's not like you're actively doing it. Your just body is looking to slow you down because you've been in a deficit for a long period of time, right? So what we actually need to do during this is increase your calories up to a maintenance level. So once we start putting your calories up, what starts to happen from here is your energy starts coming a little bit better, right? You start moving around more again. You start being on your feet more, fidgeting and things like that. Maybe you start training a little bit harder, etc. And your body just gets back to a better place of feeling energized. Now that we're back into maintenance and we're burning more calories, we've eaten more calories, we're in a great place now to go back into a diet at this point, right? Because our body's feeling energized, it's feeling fueled, like everything's working properly. Those hormones that I talked about earlier have gone back to normal as well. So like your leptin levels, your ghrelin levels. So no longer are you fighting constant cravings. Now, again, this is a huge reason why people are so unsuccessful with their weight loss and fat loss journey. They don't do this stuff. And it's so, so important. I'm just going to quickly rub this off a second. Bear with me. I should have bought a board rubber up here with me to do this. But yeah, so this is why maintenance phases are really important. It needs to be done during your journey. Otherwise, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot and you're going to go all the way back to the start and regain everything, which we don't want to do, right? Now, after we've done that maintenance phase and we start to feel more energized and stuff, like I did with Bev, we went back into another fat loss phase, okay? So I'll just put FP for fat loss phase. We went back into a fat loss phase. Now, during this time, she didn't lose any weight. course she didn't. She was in maintenance phase, right? But the goal wasn't to lose weight at this time. It was to focus on getting strong in the gym, building muscle as much as we possibly can, because again, this is going to be great for fat loss, and it's going to be great for giving you that new shape to your body that you're always wanting to chase, right? And then we went back into a fat loss phase. This is where we saw amazing results again. It wasn't like fat loss slowed down this time. We saw better results. And that's because of this process that we went through. Everyone's first fat loss phase isn't going to be their best, right? Because it's the first time doing it. By the time you've come to your second fat loss phase, you know what you're doing. You know what foods work. You know what keeps you full. You know how to get enough protein in your diet, right? And the more that we know this, again, the more satiated we are, the more full we feel, the better it is for the calorie equation, if you will. So another side note is that when we eat more protein, we actually burn more calories through digestion. So if you was to eat 100 calories of protein, you'd burn around 25 to 30% of those calories through digestion. So effectively, you only take on 70 of those 100 calories. When it comes to carbs, you would take on like 85 to 90% of those calories. And then fats, you'll take on 97 to 99% of those calories, right? So protein's really good when it comes to that side of things. So there's many, many benefits for it, right? But because we went through these phases, we were learning more about her body, we were learning how we can basically set things up the best we possibly could for her. This is why she got so many good results. We still haven't reached the 60 pounds yet, but we're well on our way there. And that's because this exact approach that we took. And then do you know what came next? After we smashed phase 4, again, I can't remember the exact amount of fat loss that we lost during that phase, but let's say we're up to like 40 pounds of fat loss at this point. We went back to a maintenance phase. We increased our calories again. Now, the benefit of doing this as well is a psychological break. Because as you know, if you feel like you're dieting forever, like indefinitely, it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling to think like I have to eat this way for the rest of my life. Because dieting is hard. You're going to be hungry when you're dieting. You're eating less calories than your body needs, right? It's a natural part of the thing. Now, obviously, like I said, we were able to get rid of all her cravings, all her binge eating, because of what we've done with her protein and how we changed her nutrition to be better. But still, being on a diet for extended period of times is fatiguing, mentally, physically, all that sort of stuff. So we still need to go into maintenance. No matter how good your diet is, you can't always be dieting, right? So it's because of this, and we're going back to another maintenance phase, that she felt great again. She was feeling good, she was feeling more energized, because towards the end of this fat loss phase, she was starting to feel more fatigued. Her training started to drop down a little bit. Her energy was suffering. So that means her lifts and her strength was suffering. Her body was struggling to recover a little bit more. And again, this is just a natural process of fat loss. But that's why we need these maintenance phases. We just need to be going through these cycles until we get to the desired outcome. Because not only is this important for just a mental break, knowing, okay, I've got 3 weeks to go, 2 weeks to go, 1 week to go until I can be more flexible. But what about when we do have more social times in our life? When it's like wedding season, when it's like the festive season, all those sorts of things, right? It's good to plan in maintenance phases around that point, because we're going to be more social at that point, right? We're going to be going out for more meals, more drinks and stuff. So as you can see, by laying things out like this, we make it fit around your lifestyle. Or shall I say in this case, we made it fit around Bev's lifestyle, right? We made it suit her and her needs and what she needed at the time. This is why she was able to rinse and repeat this for 2 years to lose 60 pounds. It's because what we were doing fitted her and her lifestyle. And she was happy doing it. She made it part of her life. And that's exactly what you need to do. Now, we rinsed and repeated this fat loss maintenance phase for another 2 times each before we got her to our desired outcome. And then in the end, what we did is we just focused on maintaining. That's it. We didn't look at losing any more body fat. She was happy. She was confident. She just wanted to focus on getting strong, lifting weights, building muscle at that point. She was at a good place. And this is exactly what you need to do. This is the blueprint for fat loss. This is what you need to do. And I promise you, if you start taking your training in this manner, you start taking your nutrition in this manner, you're going to see a world of difference. And this is what I do for every single one of my clients. It doesn't matter if they're looking to lose weight and lose body fat. It doesn't matter if they're looking to build muscle. We always do these phases because it's needed for our body to go back to that maintenance phase, whether we come out of a surplus of eating more calories to build muscle, or we come out of fat loss to stop losing weight and losing fat. It's all needed stuff, right? So what you need to do is start looking into this stuff for yourself as well. Because I promise you, if you start taking it this seriously and planning it all out, honestly, it'll be game changing. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've got a lot out of it. And if you did enjoy it, please make sure that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and whatever else there is to do on this channel, and the bell notification, that's the one, just so you don't miss out on the next upload. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.